because a lot of these ossuaries have inscriptions on them. Why? Because if you have 10 bone boxes in a tomb, after a while you don't remember who's who. So they don't, it's not monumental inscriptions. It's not like for people to come and see. It's not beauty. But it's like for the family to know, oh, you know, Josie's buried there and Jesus is buried there or whoever. So what we have is a veritable phone book of ancient Israel. Jerusalem at the time of Jesus. Now, how lucky is that? There were no phones, so we don't have real phone books, but hey, we have this practice of ossuary use, so we actually have inscriptions, because about 20% of these ossuaries have inscriptions. And also, these people are the elite. Literate, not everybody was literate. Anybody who wrote and read was the elite. So you're focusing the group even more. Elite, religiously predisposed to use ossuaries, members maybe of the Jesus movement. So what you have is a phone book of first century Jerusalem at the time of Jesus. So the minute I learned about ossuaries, I was hooked. Maybe I'm the first ossuary addict in the world, but I was hooked. And I wanted to know more about them. And boy, it's like Indiana Jones, you know, you go to the warehouse of the Israel Antiquities Authority, they have like 1,500 ossuaries, rows upon rows upon rows of ossuaries on shelves. And many of them have inscriptions. And guess what? Nobody's looked at them. Yes, it's ossuaries, first century Jerusalem, common names. Oh, Jesus, that's a common name. Nobody actually looked at them and said, wait a minute, but could it be that Jesus, or could it be that? You know, who is it? You know, what are the odds? Let's look at them. Let's examine them. They're cataloged, but you know, how many people have heard of ossuaries? Short of a small group of academics, you know, most guys when they go out on a date don't say, hey, let's read the book, the catalog of ossuaries. You know, you and I will have a fun time tonight, right? I mean, I'm a little odd. My wife puts up with me. I read ossuary catalogs. And the amazing thing is, like, hey, in the Israel Museum, there's an ossuary, and it's Caiaphas, Caiaphas, son of Joseph, Joseph, son of Caiaphas. You know, the man, the high priest who prosecuted Jesus, he's there. His bone box, his DNA is there in the Israel Museum. And guess what? Scholars don't argue about it. They say, oh yeah, it's that Caiaphas from the New Testament. So I asked, you know, I'm a journalist, I'm a filmmaker, I'm not an archaeologist, I'm not a statistician, I'm not a DNA expert, but I asked simple questions, the kind of questions that, you know, just people would ask. And my simple question is, when you find a Caiaphas, you say, oh, it's that Caiaphas from the New Testament. When you find the Jesus, you say, oh, can't be. Why is that? Why the persecutor you're sure about, and the persecuted you're not sure about?